Guru Nation, welcome to another episode of Random Musings from the Clinical Trials Guru. I'm Dan Sfera. I've got a very special guest on in the world of clinical research careers and jobs and opportunities. It is Jeslyn. Jeslyn is a LinkedIn buddy of mine, and I don't know how long we've been going back and forth with each other, quite a bit. Jeslyn, thank you very much for coming on. You want to introduce yourself so people can kind of understand what you do and who you are?
Awesome. Thank you, Dan, for having me. And yes, we have been in contact for quite a while. Hello, everyone. My name is Jocelyn. I am actually a master's in healthcare administration holder. Have my bachelor's in communication. Started off in healthcare as a receptionist at a nursing agency. Ended up getting another position as a health information coordinator at a clinic. And then I progressed into becoming a contract EMR consultant. And it was while I was working on one of my consultant projects, I ended up stumbling into clinical research, and it was love at first sight. And ever since then, I've been trying to, balance both worlds, shuffle both worlds, if you will. And right now, I've established a recruiting agency to basically place EMR and clinical research personnel in sites and hospitals. So that is my passion right now. That is what my goal is, to place qualified people in positions that they can excel in.
Wow, very good. And what's the name of the company?
It is called H-Tex Clinical.
Okay, so that's your own company. You started this.
That's exactly right, yes.
Very good. Congratulations. What made you want to start? Because a lot of recruiters that I come across on LinkedIn, they want to do what you're doing, but they work for someone else, and then oftentimes they feel like they can't do enough because it's not their company and they're not allowed to do certain things. What made you want to do this?
Well, several things, to be honest. The primary was like I said, I did contract consulting for a while. I still do that, actually. And I have been fortunate to see how the different companies handle recruitment and placement. And it's hasn't always been a pleasant experience. I've had some companies that did things right. I've had, like you pointed out, some recruiters that try to do things right, but they're working in a company that's not necessarily focused on getting people in the right place. They just focus on earning their money.
Mm-hmm.
So having experienced a lot of companies that haven't been the best, I wanted to set up something that's based on just plain, clear, human based, based on professionalism, honesty, and just for the sake of the people and the clients, not focused on the bottom line or my income. So that was one reason. Another reason was I often get a lot of people on LinkedIn reaching out to me asking, hey, I'm trying to get into the industry. What would you suggest? How do I go? Just inquiring and asking about the industry and what they need to do to get in. So I really wanted to do more than just tell them, hey, this is what you do, this is where you go. I want to actively be able to help these people. So that was the second driving force as to why I started this.
Interesting. Yeah, so you place candidates at research clinics,
Yes,
hospitals.
that's correct.
What about CROs and sponsors? Are you doing that as well?
So that is definitely an option that I am working towards. So basically, any persons who are qualified and interested in clinical research, I am working towards placing them in the different sites, hospitals, organizations that they are a fit for.
You're going to have so many people reaching out to you. We're
Uh,
going to save that for the end, and I'm going to have your link on the bottom. Now, give us background, because you gave us a brief background.
yes,
But
I
can you
did.
kind of, like, what attracted you to? It sounds like you got into clinical research on accident,
Yeah,
like me.
pretty much,
Uh,
yeah.
what did you see as the opportunity there? Like, what did you see, you know, how did you get from there to starting your own recruitment agency?
Yeah. So I see the need for it, number one. And more specifically, I see the gap between the supply and demand for clinical research personnels, and I really wanted to be able to fill that void. So it's a lot of sites and organizations that are looking for qualified personnel, and they have all these criteria that they want the experience and the specific therapeutic areas they want people to be able to have that experience in. And then on the other hand, I see people who are interested who may not have that experience or have a different profession they are coming from. And I wanted to bridge the gap between that. So that has been my driving force, is that gap between the supply and demand for personnel. And besides all of that, I actually do have a passion for research, primarily because there are all these diseases and all these illnesses that are out there without any cure or need of some research to get rid of these diseases. And I would love to be a part of making sure that that need is met. So it's
Yeah.
just passion all around.
The industry is growing, and there's always a need for more research. Like this year, next year is going to be the same. It's going to be another record year, I predict, for
Yes, it
research
will.
as far as studies. But the
Mm.
industry is stubborn. They don't take people that don't have experience, and you're still seeing. I'm seeing a
Yeah,
lot less of this. I'm starting to see 2 years or less, 1 year or less, but you're still
right.
seeing like 5 years required for most things. This is what I'm getting complaints from my students or from other people out there on LinkedIn. Hey, no one's giving me a chance. What do you recommend those people do?
So, you have been a sole voice in providing people that avenue to get in. So, first of all, like you have been good in establishing, get that education, get the knowledge, and then intern, fit in where you can. So, for instance, like you pointed out, I may have stumbled into it accidentally, but I got into one of my consulting projects to where I had to do some kind of clinical research work. That is experience that I am capitalizing on. So get in however you can. If it means helping sites get patients for their research, if it means interning in different sites participating in research, but basically get in the door. Free
Wait,
work is
so you just
free.
said helping sites get patients.
Yes,
So
yes.
here you
So,
have somebody else, a professional, okay,
yeah.
so someone who's paid to place people at companies, saying
Hmm.
the same thing I've been telling you guys and
Oh,
gals. Learn to recruit patients. People don't want to
yeah.
do that. Why do people not want to do this? I understand it's hard, but what, like, it may seem, my theory is it seems like it's not related to what they want to do. Usually they want to be a CRA, and they say
That's
patient recruitment. Why do I need to do this? Don't CRAs don't even interact with patients.
keyword is experience, experience, experience. So, like we all know, when people say if you want to succeed in business, it's all about location, location, location. Same thing in this industry. You want to get in, you want to succeed, experience, experience, experience. You get your experience anywhere you can that is legit, of course. So, you need to get in. That is one surefire way of getting in. You get in through helping these research sites get that patients they need for their different researches. Without the patients, realistically, they cannot do their research successfully. They need patients. So it's a really, really critical area of research, and there is no shame in doing just that.
Hmm.
So it's a solid way to get started.
What kind of demand have you been seeing from your clients, like the sites? I know you're doing the EMR stuff too, which I know very little about. But I guess that you can combine that in the same industry. What demand have you been seeing? Where is there more demand? More from the EMR, or more from the sites in the hospitals?
Honestly, there have been both, but with the research side, what the major catch is that gap between the supply and demand. Because the different sites and organizations are really, really particular and specific as to what they need for people to get in, it's causing there to be more demand than there is supply.
Mm.
Versus with EMR, a lot of people are able to get that experience and that qualification that's required. So it's kind of like, okay, they are able to meet that demand. The supply is
Interesting.
the demand
Is it,
versus
would
research.
it make sense for someone, let's say someone brand new, because this
Mm-hmm.
is going to happen maybe tomorrow when this video goes out. Somebody brand new's watching, has no research experience at all, but they're interested, and they
Okay.
say, "Hey, this is a great interview. I love Jesslyn. I'm gonna call her or message her on LinkedIn." Do you recommend they start? Is it easier for them to get in on the EMR side, or and then get into clinical research, or like what would you do if that person reached out?
So that is actually a really, really good question. So each person has their own pathway. I wouldn't necessarily suggest going through the EMR route, primarily because you may not ever get to stumble or cross paths with clinical research.
Mm.
I guess I'm blessed to have worked in a project that so happened to be doing a research. That particular department was participating in a research. It was oncology. So I'm blessed in
Mm-hmm.
that respect. I would suggest rather if you're brand new, I would say get the knowledge. Get the knowledge. And definitely everyone I know, I suggest going through your academy just because I have been able to see what you've done in the industry and it's legit, it's solid, and I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
But I would say get the knowledge, get the experience, and go that route. Start from the bottom. There's no shame in starting from the bottom because all you can go from the bottom is up.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest going that route. Education, get knowledge about the industry of that particular clinical research position you want. Get the training, get in. If it's an intern you can go through, that's fine. If it's free work in terms of patient recruitment, that's perfect. But get the experience and then launch from there. That's the best way you can go about it.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about patient recruitment, and I don't know why people haven't really figured this out, and why I keep talking about it, you're going to volunteer to recruit
Okay?
patients. Okay? You can even get paid a referral fee once those
Yeah.
patients randomize. So you're not even, at that point, you're not even unpaid intern. You have a position
Okay.
you created.
Exactly right.
Right? So
Exactly
people
right.
need to master the skill. It's not easy, but look, anybody watching right now can
Yeah.
Google clinics near them, okay? Like take 20 of
Right.
them near you, all right? Look at their websites, see what indications they have going on. Most sites list what studies they're recruiting for. Go on Craigslist. So far, this costs $0. Go on Craigslist, post an ad for what you've seen most, the most indication, or why not post like 5 ads, okay, for the
Right.
indications you saw, get those inbound leads, and then call those sites and say, hey, I have patients interested. I'm a patient recruiter. This way, you already
Mhm.
you're projecting that you know what's going on, as opposed to just somebody who says, hey, let me work
Exactly.
for you for free. I'll even take out the trash. Like, I mean, that might be good, but most sites don't care. They know, they can see behind that. But if you bring
Right.
them like something tangible, even if it's screen failure, okay? We'll take screen failures here at the clinic I'm sitting at. So I really encourage more people to go this route. Jeslyn, when people, when sites or hospitals reach out to you, first of all,
Mhm.
what is your ideal, or what is your prototypical client? What does their profile look like? What are they, like a small site, a big site? Like who do you typically place candidates with?
So I actually place between small and large sites. Right now, most of my focus are on the smaller sites because I see they're the ones who need the most help right now.
Really?
The
Wow.
large sites tend to be a little more particular,
Yes.
rightfully so. So my focus is on the smaller sites. It's just connecting people with them because my overall goal is to make sure that research continues as it is planned. I really want every site, small or big, to be able to have the staff that they need to do what they need to get done. But
That is a good
it's-
service. That is a
yeah.
very good service. I know so many sites, and you're right. Now that you mentioned it, I had no idea the size of the sites you were recruiting for, but it makes
Mhm.
sense as you're talking. It makes sense to me that the smaller sites need the help because
Yeah, they
the
do.
smaller sites typically are run by a PI or the owner, and they can't afford to train someone from scratch. They need somebody who has some experience already, and that's when
Right.
they reach out to Jeslyn and say, "Hey, Jeslyn, we need somebody." The bigger sites have the luxury to pick somebody with raw potential,
5%, yes.
right? Is that what you're seeing too?
That is 100% accurate. That's exactly right. And so, and then once again, for people, for the smaller sites, people who are really trying to get in or just have maybe the 1 or 2 years experience, that is a perfect fit for them because then they can go in and establish themselves and learn more. And for those who want to grow from maybe a CRC into a CRA or from a CRA into a project management, that is the perfect place to be because then you can grow from it. So it's just all around perfect for most people who are trying to succeed in this industry.
Yeah, so many in this kind of a market where it's like just so much demand, like you said, and not enough supply of especially in a place like California, you can't
Mhm.
find an experienced coordinator if your life depended on it.
Oh
That's gonna
man.
leave their site to work for like a startup, so you're in demand if you can master these skills and
Yeah.
even just tweak it a little bit towards what you need uh, as far as a career and your career
Right.
trajectory.
Yes. So that is definitely a goal is to make sure particularly the small sites their needs are met. Now I'm definitely not doing this at the expense of the bigger sites. I do have the bigger sites that I'm targeting and I've gotten job orders for that needs to be filled as well. However, like I said, for me financially making gains is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love to earn money,
Hmm.
but there's some things in life that are more important than just earnings. Being able to make a change and to do something you're passionate about is worth a lot more than whatever financial gain anyone can get, in my opinion. So, definitely, I want to do this primarily because I strongly feel research is important, and this is my way of contributing to the success of research in all areas of it.
That's right. It's a huge system. Everybody needs to plug in where they see they can provide value. We talked about California.
Hmm.
Obviously, well, maybe not so obvious for everybody, but the demand is huge here. The supply of qualified staff is so short.
Yeah.
What are some? Let's make some people's days and maybe upset some people. Where are the
Mhm.
best places right now? The most demand for qualified researchers in the country, and then where are the worst places?
Well, okay. So in Texas, that's where the company is based. There is strong demand. However, for instance, I've had some positions that have been needing personnel to fill for a few months now, and it's just on a circle. We need a CRA, we need a CRA. However, just because there isn't enough personnel who are qualified or as experienced as they would like, that same position is still available. So it's kind of tricky because right now, your area has a lot of demand. However, on the south, like in Texas and Houston, the Dallas, those areas, they do have positions that are still available that still need to be filled, but then they don't have the qualified people that they want or require. So there is still a demand and a need in Texas that I'm really wanting to get people's attention to.
Why
So
is that?
that's
Is it not enough people are applying for those jobs there, or what's going on in Texas?
it's a balance. It's a combination of not enough people, and number two, they are real specific as to I want a person with 1 year or 2 years of experience. And like you pointed out initially, the industry is a little bit stubborn, so they are not wanting to budge on that. And I can understand that this is research, these are people's life, and we don't want to make a mistake on whatever data they submit. However, we need to understand that, okay, for you to get the people you need to either reduce that requirement and train them so they're able to do the job successfully, or you just need to, open up your search criteria, perhaps
Hmm.
outside of Texas. I do believe there are people who work from home doing this and doing it successfully. They will need to consider having people work outside of Texas and fly into the sites maybe once or twice a week as needed.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's a balance of both.
I'm curious. So, yeah, between Texas, let's say Dallas, and like the same job in Dallas and Los Angeles, okay?
Okay.
The same position. You're
Okay.
saying that the ones in Texas go vacant longer on average.
Yes.
And do you think the employers there are pickier, or do you think the candidates are not as strong in Texas? Putting you on
I
the hot spot, on the hot seat.
I see that. Honestly, I feel like it's more of the candidates are not as strong just because Texas is beginning to get, or to the best of my knowledge, Texas is just beginning to get more acquainted with clinical research in the sense that,
Mm,
yes, we know about research, yes, we know that, but we don't have enough people who are doing that as a job or looking to get into that as their job. So the awareness of clinical and research, of course, that exists, but the actual people who are interested or going into it, not so much.
mm.
So that's where, in my opinion, as lack.
So that's opportunity for all you guys and gals in Texas and maybe other places in the South where you're seeing these vacancies. And this is why you've got to talk to an expert like Jesselyn. Okay, people
Right.
ask me these things all the time. Like, I'm a recruiter. I have no idea, which markets are hiring. I just know across the board everybody's
Mhm.
hiring because you can't find enough people. But when it
Right.
comes to like specific geographic areas, I'm just guessing, and you need to speak with experts like Jesselyn to figure out exactly where. We have a lot of students from Atlanta. We don't have as many from California. The ones from
Yeah.
California on average tend to find jobs quicker. The ones from Texas and
Right.
Atlanta take longer. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why that is, but that could be an opportunity for you guys out there because Jesselyn just said the quality of candidates in those areas not as good. So if you can be that good, those people are gonna want to bring you on
And keep you on.
and keep
So
you on.
that's the other thing is the turnaround. So sometimes we have people come in, but then they don't have the staying power to stay in. So it's one thing
Mm,
to get in, it's another thing to stay in. And it still boils down to having that, first of all, the passion for this.
yeah.
And then secondly, the knowledge and then the experience. But the
Wow.
passion is the lead.
See, and you guys are so lucky now in 2019, 2020. When I got started in this industry in 2005, it was so closed. There was like this was I mean, you think it's like a secret industry now? You should have seen
Mhm.
back then in 2005. You couldn't even find like what words meant in
Well,
this industry. So, I'm gonna rewind to pretend like I'm myself before I got started in research. Okay,
okay.
and I'm gonna talk to you. So hey Jeslyn, I saw a video of you. I hear that you help people get into research. I just
Right.
graduated with a bachelor's degree from University of Arizona, and I hear that being a CRA is a good career. What do you suggest I do, Jeslyn? Pretend like I'm talking to you right now.
Okay, awesome. Well, my first suggestion is let's work on your experience. Let's work on how you are able to get in and stay in. So let's see where we can place you in terms of internship and volunteering. Falling back on the patient recruitment, let's get started with that. Start recruiting patients for the different sites and hospitals in your area that are participating in research, and let's build your resume. falling back on what you mentioned, you do have the education for it. If you do not have specific education to clinical research, I would suggest getting that. And between that education specific to clinical research and building that experience in terms of recruiting patients and whatever other experience you can acquire, within 6 months, we are ready to get started into a CRC clinical research position. And from there on, it's just
Six
wherever you want to
months.
go within 6 months.
6 months, very good. Will you be there to coach me, keep me accountable, Jesselyn?
I will do my able best. But at the end of the day, I can only do as much as you want to get done because each person makes that decision on how far they want to succeed. And like I said, with all my team, is teamwork makes the dream work. So that's why I love that I'm able to partner with you, Dan, in terms of, hey, for those who need to get the education, I can send them your way because I know they will get the quality education and training they need to get in and succeed. And I can know coming from you, any person that comes through you to me, I will feel a lot more confident and able to like market them to different organizations and sites because I need to be able to market solid candidates to these people.
Very good.
So
I
yeah,
like this. Yeah, when you reached out to me on LinkedIn and we were going back and forth, I know we
yeah,
comment sometimes on each other's posts, but never
uh-huh,
really met, so I didn't really know what you did.
right,
But I'm glad because, yeah, you're right. Like, you can send people to the CRA Academy. I can send
yeah,
our interns to you. The ones that are having a harder time getting hired but do have the experience. And
yeah,
so you're saying 6 months. You were telling me the make believe me 6 months,
mm-hmm,
and then we're good. So if I go recruit for sites for 6 months, let's say I find a site I'm recruiting for and they like me, so now they're like bringing me on, and in addition to recruiting, they're allowing me to help and shadow
yeah,
coordinators. Okay, so I'm putting all this on my CV. So in six
that's right,
months, if that site doesn't want to hire me, and I understand they might not be able to because they have their own financial
yeah.
situations going on, but somebody, you're saying I have very good chances at that point within 6 months.
You have a better chance than what you had 6 months ago, number one.
Hmm.
Number two, you have 6 months worth of experience you can build and capitalize on. And number three, if companies are looking for people, like you pointed out earlier on, companies are beginning to realize that, hey, they need to adjust these criteria to be able to get the people they need. So there are positions that require 6 months to a year and will accept a 6 months professional with 6 months experience. So
Hmm.
that gives you a better chance of getting in with your 6 months than someone who comes in with 0 months of experience. So
Wow.
you have 6 months worth of like a head start.
Yeah, that's really positive news and see, when I was coming out of college, I didn't even have that. Like, you just heard things about, the CRA said CRA is a good profession. I had no
Right.
idea what that was. I applied to like 100 places, didn't even get a response back, not even one. Not even a we don't want you or you're not qualified, just nothing, right? So
Wow.
it was a very depressing time for me, and I understand what people are going through, but the market is so good right now. All right, you just and the information compared to a decade ago is so much more information out there. Not just from my stuff. There's other people talking about research too. And
Yeah.
you have LinkedIn. Let's not forget this huge
Mm,
social network. You have Facebook
yeah.
groups dedicated to just researchers. You have ACRP. You can go to the monthly chapter meetings. I mean, just talk to more people about clinical research. I think that's the answer.
Right. And one saying that I've loved to repeat is people would not know where to find you if you don't tell them where you're found. So if people do not know you're interested in clinical research, they will not come looking for you.
Mm,
If people do not know wherever you are placed on whatever social media platform, they do not know that's what you do. When they have that need, they will not look your way. If there are recruiters who are looking for personnel in clinical research, they don't see you on LinkedIn, for instance, which is a solid professional social
oh
platform.
my God, it's so
I
good.
don't see you there. I'm not going to consider you because I don't know that's what you do. So it's putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, willing to learn, put it out there, capitalize on all the different social networks that are involved in this. Capitalize on it, get in, do what needs to be done. So,
It's so good, and you hit on something important with LinkedIn and all this social networking. So I
yeah.
don't want people to take it the wrong way and just start spamming on LinkedIn because you get a
Oh,
lot of that. That's you might as well not be on it if you're gonna do
yeah.
that. It's actually gonna be worse for you, right?
Yes, you will.
So how do you? And you do a very good job at this. I need to do even better. But you comment, you're active. You engage. Without pushing what you do. But
Right.
like, what advice do you give to someone? Let's say me from 2005. I wouldn't have known not to spam because I probably would have been
Yeah.
doing that too back then. Like, what would you tell me?
Well, I would definitely suggest starting with your profile. Establish a profile that definitely indicates your different experience and your interests. Two things, experience and interest.
Mm.
And then join there are a lot of hashtags and a lot of different platforms within LinkedIn that are dedicated to clinical research. So start like getting in with them, seeing whatever comments or profiles or statuses are being put on LinkedIn about the clinical research industry. Follow those, comment, just get active with that.
Hmm.
And then sometimes it's as easy as when you add a different or new professional in LinkedIn that's in clinical research, just a simple hello. Add people not for the intention of spamming them or for hounding them. Add them for that connection and just a simple hello, hi, thanks for connecting. And build a relationship is the key that I am getting to. It's people do business or work with people they know and love. So if I don't know you as a HR manager for any healthcare organization, if you reach out to me and I don't know you and you've not just shown no history of anything clinical research, when you send me an email or LinkedIn mail with all this, hey, my name is, and this is my resume, I will initially have my wall up because I'm not sure who you are and why you're approaching me in this manner. It's a little much. It's in my face.
Yeah.
So I say definitely just slow and steady win the race. Start small. Your profile. Let it highlight your experience and your interest. Start communicating with different people who are industry professionals, people who are in the industry that you're trying to get in or you're trying to stay in,
Hmm.
and then connect with these people, network with them, and build a relationship with them is the main key.
I think so, and I think having a genuine interest in something,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and that everyone has a different background and different preferences. Like, research is huge, so to say you're interested in research is not really saying very much.
Hmm.
I mean, be more specific, I think, and then you can have more intelligent conversations online.
Yeah.
For example, if you're interested in technology and research, well, there's people talking about that, and you'll actually sound like you're interested as opposed to just
Yeah.
saying it to get a reaction. Or if you're interested in oncology, you can actually have real conversations. And here's the thing we're not even talking about: you can learn. What a concept. You can actually learn from other people on LinkedIn, right?
That's yeah.
And you can just comment something like, wow, thank you for sharing that. I just learned a whole lot. I mean, that's a genuine comment, right? So I think using these tools is good, but you have to kind of put forward what you're interested in, and that kind of comes off as genuine as opposed to, just this generic thing that looks like you copy and pasted to everybody.
Oh yeah, no, that's never a good idea. The passion and being genuine, you cannot put a price tag on that. And like you clearly pointed out, that's a solid point. Yes, learning wherever you can is such a priceless thing to have. And you stop growing the moment you stop learning.
Yeah.
So all these videos that are going out there. And once again, I appreciate you for putting all these videos out there. Some of the videos that you do put, I've seen, I know the information, but I watch it over again because I'm like, well, refresh the knowledge that I have. I may learn something that I didn't learn before. Maybe I will hear something that I didn't hear the previous one or two or however many times I heard that video. So definitely keeping your continuing education going is it's priceless.
That's
So yeah.
key. That's the key. So, Jeslyn, thank you very much for doing this. We need to do more. I think I need more. We this should be a series with you. And I really am impressed the fact that you're an entrepreneur and you're doing this on your own.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very rewarding for you. Um, how do people, first of all, before we tell people how to reach out to you,
Okay.
who do you want to reach out to you?
I
Anybody?
well, as much as I would like to have the whole world come to me, I want to focus on the people that I can actually help. So my focus are clinical research personnel, more specific in the clinical research area. I do have the EMR side of things, so for credentialed EMR trainers and for the certified EMR analyst, those are one side of it. But in respect to clinical research, I'm looking at the clinical research coordinators, the CRAs, clinical research nurses, and the project managers. Those are the four areas that I'm focused on right now.
Okay, very good. And what do? They call you, text, LinkedIn message? How should they? I'm gonna have your LinkedIn profile underneath, but how should they reach out?
So the LinkedIn is a solid start. Right now, I would suggest sending your resumes to my email address, which is recruitment at htext.clinical.com. So you can reach out to me on LinkedIn
Wait, say that
or you
again.
can
Recruitment at.
htext clinical, which is the company name, .com.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll put that underneath as well.
Yeah.
Very good. So be prepared to get people reaching out. I'm actually going to send some of our interns that I think are
Yeah.
really promising your way, especially the
Okay.
ones that come to They take the extra effort to come to California, which is optional.
Yeah.
But the ones that
Yeah.
do, I get to know them, and they get introduced to Jeslyn. So this
Yeah.
is an incentive for our CRA Academy students to come on
Yeah.
down to California. It's more work for me, but it's better for you, and that's what it sounds crazy and cheesy, but I'm in it for you in the long run. And I'll get mine in the process. Don't worry about me. But I'm doing this for you guys. So, Jeslyn, you're gonna get some people coming your way. I appreciate very much what you're doing. We have to do another one just on how did you create your business, because there's so many people that want to do, they're already in research or they're thinking about research and they want to create their own business, but they don't know
Okay.
how. And you're proving it doesn't have to be a site or a CRO or a contract CRA. I mean, you can do
Right.
job placement, which is crazy, that's even a thing, but it's a huge thing.
It is. Well, thank you so very much. I am very excited to meet the people who will come from your academy and from this video. My goal is to get everyone placed and successful. So teamwork makes the dream work. So between you, your academy, me, the agency, and whomever else is helping this industry become more successful, I am excited. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm
That's right.
excited.
That's right. Are you ever in California? Are you planning to be here on September 6th?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm still in New York on the project.
Okay.
I'm hoping I will be done by then. So if I'm done, definitely I'm on the first thing flying to West Cali.
Thank you. I think we'll get you on stage and do a panel, like a live panel in front of everyone there, and we'll record another video then and there if you can. If not, it's okay. We'll do more. We'll do more in the
Yeah.
future.
And then you are going to have another one coming up, are you?
Yeah, if this one's successful, which so far every indication is it's gonna be,
Yeah.
we'll do every year or maybe twice a year. We'll just keep growing it and
Okay.
hopefully attract even more and more speakers. And this first one will be very interesting, but I think it will be the funnest one, maybe, because it's the first.
Okay,
So
that's
we have
awesome.
a taco truck coming, and we get free food for people. Uh,
Huh.
it'll be good. It'll be you can't
Yeah,
beat it. It's free networking, free food. Can't beat it.
right.
Right?
You sure can. Looking forward to it. So I just want to make sure that my contracts with this current company I'm with is fully done with by
Okay.
then. But I would love to be there, and I'm hoping that I can make it out there.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. More interviews. Thank you very much, Jeslyn.
Yeah, thank
Recruitment
you.
at htextclinical.com.
Yeah,
Right? And then
yes.
her LinkedIn is on the profile or on the links underneath in the show notes on the podcast, and the very first one on YouTube. If you're watching, she's a very good person to be in touch with in the industry. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jeslyn. Thank you,
Thank
everyone, for
you.
watching, listening, and we'll catch y'all later. Good luck to everybody as well. Bye bye.